Well, that's not right at all. What? Oh goodness! Right. So we've got funky things going on. Obviously, I need to get rid of those grids. But this is a slightly different start to a Monday Night Live, and that's mainly because there's something that I wanted to kind of discuss that was quite important. But I've got to turn these grids off. So 2 seconds. Let us try and figure out how I can do this whilst not looking at any of the buttons in the camera. That's not it. That's not it. Display mode. No. Anyone see grid? Anyone see grid? Grid display off. Bosh. There we go. Some of those apples right. So, yes. Good evening and thank you very much for joining me. Just before we kick off with tonight's Monday Night Live, there is something that I just wanted to say, and that is that this morning I learned of the very sad loss of James Seton, the CEO and big boss man of RigMod. And James is someone that I've spoken to on numerous occasions, both at shows and also via sort of texts and messages and all that kind of stuff. So I've got on really well with James. James is an amazing person, or was an amazing person, and it was with massive sadness that I learned of his passing this morning. So what I wanted to tell you guys is he's left behind a wife and 3 children, and there is actually a GoFundMe set up for his name, which you should see a link to in the description if you wanted to go towards or help towards those guys and their Christmas. And that being said, you know, it's a sad time, especially at this time of year. It's never a good time to lose somebody, but because of that, I just wanted to let you guys know what was going on. That there is a link there, and if you go onto the RigMod's social media, then you'll find out a lot more, I'm sure. But no, my heart goes out to his family, his friends, and those he's left behind. So, with that being said, now it's time to start Monday Night Live. Okay, so there we go. That was the important stuff. For me personally, I had to discuss that. I had to sort of mention that one. So this is back to being a normal Monday Night Live. I'm just closing down some unnecessary windows on the computer. If you're new here, what's going to happen is the same as happens every Monday Night Live. For the first 10 minutes, I'm going to say hello to people in chat. So if you're in chat, then let me know who you are, what you're vaping on, and where you're from. I love to see where people are around the world. I think that's fantastic. Let me know that one. Then we're going to launch into the full event with our very special guest, who I'm very much looking forward to chatting to in a few minutes. So we will have a good old time. But let me just get my comments or window up, and then I can start saying hello to you, lovely bastards. So let's get stuck into this. I hope you can hear me okay and everything looks all right. It looks like it seems to be working reasonably well at this end. So let's get started. Hello to people. We've got Jay Jerry. We've got Socrates the cab driver, Vape Malone, Alex McKenzie. Nice to see you. You managed to get into the chat then, Alex. We've got Focus Evo. We've got JTH Reviews. Viv E is in the house. I just went backwards a little bit there. James McDonough from London. Nice to see you, James. Thank you very much for joining us. Alex McKenzie, I'll read. We've got a bunch of people saying hello to Viv. She's a very popular lady. Thomas BVB, hi from Germany. Socrates the cab, it just says Transonic. Okie dokie. Darren Vapes, hi, I'm Darren from Carshalton. Is that it? Vaping on the Tesla 220 Punk with the Vandy Vape Kylen 2. Pelly Vapes is hello on the Infinix in Sweden. What's the Infinix? I don't know what that is, but that sounds cool. I like the idea of it. Andy Fairchild is calling in from Bristol. John Cook is saying Merry Tidings, and Merry Tidings to you as well, sir. Lethal Coils, nice to see you. Dave Vape, is that? Evening Dean from Tunbridge Wells, nice to see you. Barry Miller, evening, O-bearded one. I think, Mr. Miller, I think you are that O-bearded one after seeing your recent Facebook post with your glorious man face duvet. It was stunning. Jeff Chinnery, hello from Oshawa in Canada, west for Vicious. What's up from Cincinnati, Ohio, the real Sin City, apparently. We've got greetings from Londinium. Squonky, it says Speed Freak 67. Scott Bogfer, evening Dean, cheers from Paradise, Newfoundland. Lovely. Honolulu, Hawaii, says Kevin K. Vape Malone, Las Vegas, Nevada here. Squid Industries double barrel with a hermetic on top. Sounds like a lovely little connection you've got going on right there. John Lamaritato, is that right? Tato? You say Tato, I say Tato. Hey Dean, hello from PA, NY. What's that? I don't know where that is. Pennsylvania, New York? No, that's not right. I don't know. But hello. Shane Foster, Dean vaping on the Druga Foxy with the Kylin V2 from Newton Aycliffe, County Durham. Nice to see you, Shane. Mike Sem, what's up? Goes all into the 90s on that one. Nathan Sydenham, evening sir, from Dark Damp Dorset. Lovely to see you. Alistair Robinson, hiya. How are you doing? We've got Sergio in from Saudi Arabia. Hello, Sergio. How are you doing? The Northern Vapor, hi biker. Hi to you, Northern Vapor. Focus Evo is saying hello, Socrates. We've got Steve Clark, Steve and Helen in Rugby, my favourite couple that watch the Monday Night Live. Lovely to see you two, as always. We've also got I say it wrong every week. Gort Bull. What's up, Dean from Norway, vaping on the Bonza mech kit. Lovely old job. Holidine in Somerset, and I'm vaping on the Vaporesso Taro, Baby and Cascada. No, that's a house band. I don't. Cascade, here you go. We'd love to see you review them. Lovely old job. Mowgli Vapes, Bavarian Cream, DIY on Legend Aero and from Massachusetts. Jim Weidman from Nashville, Tennessee. Lovely to see you. Jacob Skomberg from Denmark. Did I say that even remotely closely, Jacob? Did I say that closely? Look at that, look, Vaping with Thesis is in chat. What? We've also got Lynn Smith is in, vaping on the Topside Squonk mod, and Jorda RDA. We've got Train Sonic, JTH, just saying JTH. I'm sure he's saying hello to someone. Wood Tick Mike, hello all. Hello to you, Wood Tick Mike. We've got a couple of minutes left. Sick Boy, hello. You sexy beast from the East Coast, USA. Lovely to see you. Volker Het, hey Dean. I'm in Bremen, vaping on a Narca on a Hot Sig RSQ with some Rig Mod jeans in it. Absolutely. Sergey Zemsky is from Russia. Nice to see you, Sergey. Ian Thomas, hi Dean from Bristol. Lovely to see you. Wolfheart, vaping on my Spade 21700 DNA 75. Cairo, Egypt. How you getting on with that one, Wolf? Still got to do my review on that one. What's up, biker? I'm over in the US, says Darklight. Colorado, to be exact. Vaping on my trusty old Revenger today with my go-to Immortals Elixir Hades. Okie dokie. Having some of those apples. Michelle Dime is in. Nice to see you, Michelle. Thank you very much for joining us. We've got Mr. Sniffer in. Room looks exactly the same. Not quite, but thank you very much. My Rose, Mary Rose De Prospero. I think. I'm sorry if I'm mutilating people's names. I'm sorry. But from Rochester, New York, nice to see you. Spork Life, look at that. Look, he's in here. Vaping on the day one in RDA mode from Minnesota. I was actually looking for some Spork Life custard. I found it and then lost it. It's here somewhere. But we've got Steve McGowan, hey Dean, from Brisbane, Australia. Lovely old job. We've got Devilmar, hi Dean, from Kent, UK. First time catching you live. Hooray! Hey, nice to see you. It is Devalmar. Nice to see you. Thank you very much indeed. And welcome. Welcome for your first time. We're breaking your cherry. Let's get that popped. We've got Billy Hollinger is on the Pulse 80 watt. We've got John McKinney from Kentucky, USA, K-Fun Prime on a Danny Extreme V3. Lovely old job. Billy was also vaping on the Ghoul, by the way. We've got Keith Little is from Kentucky. We've got Mick Blizzard from Solihull, Bassium. Good man, Mr. Blizzard. On the Nudge 22 with Grumpy Custard, we've got Ed Baker. Very sad news, absolutely, from what I was mentioning earlier on. Absolutely. Mowgli Vapes is in. Ian Thomas, Socrates, the cab driver. Sean, hello from Great Yarmouth. Hello, Sean from Great Yarmouth, just up the road. We've got Craig Higginbotham from Holbeach. Good, no good juice for man flu. Absolutely. Menthol. Just menthol your face off. That'll be fine. Up Dean from Stoke-on-Trent says Joseph Finnegan. Kirk's Venus. Hello from Montreal, Canada. Raj Wadud. Hello from Cheshire. Nice to see you over there, Raj. We've also got Bigfoot Vaping Biker. Got your Bassium in today from Ohio. Nice to see you. I hope you enjoy it, Bigfoot. Darren Vapes. My name is Darren from London. I'm vaping on the Tesla Punk 220 with the Vandy Vape Kylin at 2. We've got Nick Smith from Leyland vaping on the Armour V1 on top of the Runt V1 with lemon crack. Very nice. I'm yet to try lemon crack. I've still not tried it. It's rude. But it's finished now, isn't it? I think it's finished now. Hi, Dean. Season greetings from Antwerp, vaping on the Belgian Octopus mod with the Entheon RDA. A nice little setup you got going on there. Paul Sykes from sunny Sheffield. Merry Crimbo. We're not quite in that kind of wishing people a Merry Crimbo situation yet, are we? Am I in focus? I'm thinking I have to use manual focus with this. There we go. That's better, isn't it? Do you need to see the wrinkles and beard hair? I don't know. Hi, Dean. Locked in from Birmingham, UK. Locked in, says Lee Davis. From Birmingham, UK. How are we all doing? Not bad at all. Better than you, possibly. But, you know, if you've got the kettle, food and the telly and a computer, that's all you need. The Northern Vapor is in County Durham. Hi, Mr. Biker from Germany, vaping on the V-Cigo and the Galaxy Smash Lung RDA, says Bob Cattrall. We've got Chrome Magic. Hey, Dean, hope you're good. From Coventry, nice to see you. Hello from Oklahoma. I have my Pulse with the recurve going, says Tony Jenkins. Ian Judd says good evening. Reese Evans, how's things from Newmarket? Lovely old job. We've got a bunch of people going in here. I'm just going to scroll through a little bit. We've got Repty Rob from Wolverhampton. Very nice too. I think we've done that 10 minutes. To be honest with you. So I'm just scrolling forward. I apologise if I've missed you. I haven't done that on purpose, but I could stand here or sit here and say hello to people literally all night, and that would be a nightmare for everybody involved, I'm sure. But I will try and get to you all later on in the proceedings. Now then, what we've got here is I've not got the right screen loaded up at all. If I put that camera on, no, I have. Look, there he is. There's Vaping with Thesis. Hang on, buddy. I've got
surprise, motherfuckers.
There we go. Let's put that up so we can hear you. How we doing, buddy?
I'm amazing. Yourself, bro?
Very, very well. Thank you very much indeed for coming to join us tonight. It's your first Monday Night Live as well, so thank you for coming and hanging out with me for an hour or so. Absolutely.
Thank you for having me on.
Let me know in the chat if everybody can hear us both okay. If anyone's a little bit quiet or a little bit too loud or any of that sort of stuff, let me know, because then we can make sure things are right. I have the power to make that a thing. So, Mr. Vaping with Thesis, you and I have been chums for a long time now, but for those people out there that don't know who you are, tell us a little bit about yourself, my friend.
What would you like to know?
Tell us about your channel. Your YouTube channel's been going for a while now, isn't it? So let's start there.
I just found out that I had no idea. So if you do some weird, you ever search yourself on Reddit? First of all, don't do it. Don't do it. You will see all sorts of things that aren't meant for your eyes. There are compliments, don't get me wrong, which is amazing. But then, of course, those are the ones that we always ignore. Yeah. You want to see what shit people are talking. It gets deep. But one of the first posts I saw, there was a list of, like, quote unquote original vape YouTubers, and I was included on that list. And I was like, get the heck out of here. Go to look, and sure enough, the channel started in 2013.
Fantastic.
So it's been a long time. It's going on, what is that, 6 years? Remember I was just telling you that 23 years old is how I feel?
Yeah.
Because that's when I started the channel. And that's even when what'd you say? Even when you're 55, we're like, oh, I feel like a 21-year-old. And it just sounds like such a tool when people say that, but that's true.
Definitely.
No, man,
So yeah, so you've been going since 2013, which is
2013, yeah,
the year before me, which is crazy. But you are actually one of the OGs, and I'm not going to just blow smoke up your ass on this one, but I think you're one of the most underrated channels on YouTube when it comes to vaping, purely because I think what you do not only is, particularly now, your production really, really good, but it's also your sense of humour. It comes through so well. Was that a sort of a conscious decision just to sort of have some kind of real off-piste little sort of bits and sort of have some jokes and fun, or was it just letting you come out?
No, absolutely not. It was, believe me, if I was going to do anything intentional, it wouldn't have been what I did. I didn't come from YouTube background. I'm a musician first and foremost. I was a musician way before that, but myself and my best friend were signed to several record labels out of Chicago and Minneapolis. And the way that I acted on the YouTube channel is exactly how I act in real life. And a couple of viewers now know this really intimately. That's the best way to put it. They offered their house up for myself and one of my friend Josh's to stay at their house down in Vegas for ECC in LA.
Yeah.
And he was honest about it. He's like, I didn't really know what to expect, this, that, the other. Come to find out. And I told him, I'm like, look, everything you see on the channel is not only real, but it might be too much in real life because none of that changes. And I can't be a fake, I'm not a fake person. Of course, there's a bit of, tongue in cheek sometimes, I'll sometimes now, especially that I'm older and more mature, I'll kind of tongue in cheek do some of the stuff I did way back in the day, and I'm way more mature than I was. But the ADD factor is real life. And I don't want to be like that necessarily. I would much rather be taken seriously, I guess, with my opinions on these devices, but I have a hard time taking it seriously.
No, I mean, the thing that I love is when you start off a video that, I've come on to watch a review of a product, and then you'll just have like a 2-minute kind of rant about, I don't know, getting chicken or coffee or something. And it just goes, and it's kind of one of those moments where you go, what? You have to enjoy it. It's so much fun. But it's really kind of out there, and then you just launch into it. But I think it's fucking superb, man. Well,
I appreciate it. And now because the channel, like I said, I matured. All those rants are real life rants. I didn't just sit there and write out a bit. So the reason why I had back in the day, especially, had such big gaps between videos, a week and a half, sometimes 2 weeks between videos, was because I thought people enjoyed those rants so much that I thought I had to do those rants in order to make a video. So I had to go out and experience some shit to get pissed off.
Yeah.
I had to find something to piss me off to the point where I got a rant, boom, and I'll run home, run in the studio and record it. But now I just let them happen, when they happen. But usually 9 times out of 10, it's just a regular review, but with my twist on it, especially now with actually your help and Bogan's help. Excuse me. With video, I think it was you guys that suggested the GH5. Went with the GH5. A bunch of different stuff that you guys, and you're helping me right now with the close-up section, especially with that truss system you've got going on. Yeah. So my close-ups are going to get a lot better because I rock for my close-up section just a GoPro Hero 5.
Yeah.
And it's garbage. It's absolute terrible contrast, terrible noise. And I will eventually be able to afford just a simple point and shoot's even better than this for close-up. Yeah.
But I mean, having said that, your channel is still, over the last year, it's changed, not in as much as the content that you've put in there, but the quality of that content. It's got so
the quality
much
of the content. I appreciate it. That, and I'm trying now to more just have more of a flow of thought or stream of thought instead of having so many jump edits, because that does get tiring, especially when the video is 25 minutes long. Not only that, but that's 6 hours of editing.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to edit for 6 hours, especially when you hear my voice nonstop. I hate my own voice.
But I think you were the first and possibly only YouTuber that in the vape world that I've seen using the voice changer, so you can do your little kind of little sped up bits.
Yeah, man. That's high pitch viewer.
Doing the kind of rewinds and I love all that. I think it's fucking marvelous. But
I appreciate that.
It is just an entertaining way of doing it. But so what's your thoughts on the kind of the vaping world? Let's say the vaping world in YouTube, without talking about any kind of drama-y negative stuff. We don't have to worry about that.
No. I like to be drama-free as much as possible. I don't. If someone has something to say to me, I prefer they do it in real life. Because to me, if you're behind a keyboard, my 7-year-old can talk is the best trash with the best of them. The vape world in general, I get frustrated on a regular basis because companies, I feel like, push out product faster than what they claim to be innovating. Yeah. And there's a the golden ratio with beauty. There's a golden ratio with economics. There's a golden ratio with business. This shouldn't be viable. This should not be a viable business at all. You shouldn't be able to put out this much product. But the vape industry is so unique. Like if I were to go back to my musician mindset and pump out 2 songs a day, eventually people will stop listening.
Yeah,
because you flood the market. But somehow this industry continues to flourish. But it frustrates me as someone who's been here since the beginning, because I'll look at mods from 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, that are just as innovative, quote unquote. You could literally take any one of the descriptions from 2018 of a Smock Tech mod, and slap it on a Vapor Wrestle mod or Asmodus mod, or do you remember the GI box? The GI, yeah, that's a good example right there.
Yeah,
that was doing more than a lot of the mods do now. Granted, it was a lot more clumsier. It wasn't quite as well refined. But I get frustrated because when they say that it's innovative, what is innovative?
Yeah.
What is innovative? You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you're making a coil hot.
Yeah.
And yes, there are ways to innovate on that. At the same time, give me something where you've taken a year, 6 months to a year of just research and development of stress testing, not just stress testing. How come we can't figure out how to correctly temp control Canthal, for example? I've done enough research on the background that has nothing to do with vaping, that has to do with more like stoves, for example, or different companies using heating elements for hot water treatment or hot water systems that use Canthal that can temperature control it. Granted, the computer in it's this big, the motherboard in it's this big. There's got to be a way where we can do things like that. And I remember HomeTech had about the best or the closest. And they kind of cheated their way through that, come to find out years later, but it still worked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes.
Exactly. Sometimes it works. And so that's the only part that I can think of with innovation. Otherwise, man, the vape industry, without the vape industry, I wouldn't be who I am now. I don't even know if I'd be around for my kids. You know, in 20 years, 30 years, I'd be still smoking cigarettes.
Yeah.
The way I forced myself to stop vaping because my sister's stepdad has a tracheotomy. We were down at her wedding in Chicago, and he grabbed I was smoked Cool Hundreds at the time. He grabbed one of my Cool Hundreds, ripped the filter off, and proceeded to smoke, and said, "This is what I smoked before I went in for my tracheotomy." And I was like, "Holy shit!" And that was about the time where I started to wake up and have a sore throat, not from being sick, but from smoking cigarettes. And that's when I decided, like, okay, this is time. That was 2012, and that was like that's it. And I picked up my first e-cig in 2010 at a truck stop on the way to my Katie Cheese factory in Wisconsin job, which fucking sucked. I hated that job. But, paid the bills. It was what it was.
Yeah.
But this industry has brought me closer to more people than anything ever has. The music industry is one of the most divisive and one of the most cutthroat industries you can possibly imagine. If you think Fortune 500 CEOs are scary people, if you get in the music industry, the people you don't know, the people you don't see in the background, those are some of the scariest people. And the vape industry has seemed, to get closer to this recently, but on the whole, has been one of the most welcoming industries I've ever been a part of. Not just industries, I'm not talking about just economically, but just things, genres of anything, hobby, whatever you want to call it, that I've ever been into.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of talk about the kind of a split community when you've got your kind of your high end and your low end and your middle range and all this sort of malarkey and mouse to lung and direct to lung and all that. But generally, I think most vapors, as long as they're not dicks, are still pretty sweet about kind of, it doesn't matter what you're vaping on as long as you vape. I think that's the main thing that comes through with a lot of people. And it does mean that there is still that community there whenever I do a sort of a charity thing or when I've done them in the past. And I know Todd recently did a video about how much money that his channel has raised for charity over the last 12 months. And it's ridiculous. And vapors do come together for a good cause, and they come together for a number of reasons. But it's unlike a lot of other kind of environments, if you like. I think the closest I've been, my biking background, the brotherhood that I've had in that kind of thing, it's not quite like that, but it's not far away,
Yeah, absolutely. What other hobbies have you been into, by the way?
Oh man, I've done all sorts. There's been kind of, there's obviously the biking thing was a big thing for me, but I was also a power lifter for a long time, and I just kind of get into a whole bunch of things. Now I'm old. I'm just, obviously I feel like I'm 21, but, things like photography and stuff just make me happy, and being better at video, the whole cinematography side of thing just really
your cinematography is ridiculous, bro. Like your color grading. So if you look at your intro, your scaling and your colors, I strive to get my whole video to just look like a screenshot of your intro. And I'm not even trying to kiss ass. I'm being dead serious. I think there's no other, and I guarantee you every other reviewer, I don't care if they're in the highest end caliber to the lowest end caliber, if they watch one of your reviews, they strive to get to that point. And I don't know that all of us have the patience to do that.
No, I mean, it's tough to do. For me, it was just something that I wanted to kind of have something a little bit more entertaining from my side of things, because there is so much stuff. I've said before that I turn away more than I take on. And that's just because if you review literally everything, then I'm very lucky with the kind of the size that the channel is now that I get offered a lot of gear, which is great. But there's so much that's the same as the last bit of gear, that I just haven't got the patience to do it. So by sort of focusing on some different sort of cinematography, yeah, cinematography kind of skills, it makes me a little bit happier. Like the intro to the overpowered mod that I did the other day. That was just a whole bunch of B-roll that I took without the use of sliders or anything else like that. So that was a challenge to try and get that all handheld, and that just kind of made me super happy. But you were saying earlier on about your music industry. Now I've heard a couple of little snippets of the stuff that you've done before, and you're talented in that respect, massively so. And obviously you can see that the space you're in at the moment is a studio. What do you do with regards to all of that sort of stuff?
Okay, so in terms of music, I stopped recording other art. This is NIMPRO Studios, and NIMPRO Studios started back in 2009. And NIMPRO stands for Ninth Year Music Entertainment, or Ninth Year Music Productions. So it's just basically a group of friends that I went to school for engineering. But I've been doing this since I was 14. My brother and I both, Jesus and I, DJing, which started out as graffiti, from that to beatboxing, from that to DJing, to realizing that we can record ourselves, hip hop, rap, and so on and so forth. And I wanted to make bluegrass, specifically, not just bluegrass, but specifically slide blues guitar.
Yeah.
And live instruments with hip hop, because at that time, circa 2006, 5-ish, very few artists were using live instruments. They were using just all MIDI. Yeah. And you can see in the background here's M Audio, old school MIDI man. And MIDI to me sounds terrible. I've always been a stickler with audio. And MIDI it sounds like garbage, trumpets, terrible piano. Even if you had a $5,000 Mo 2, back then it was fine. Yeah. And people were getting by with it. It's not what I wanted to do. So I slowly but surely figured out how to record the cleanest vocals I can record for a really shitty budget. People talking mattresses on the walls. Yeah. Once I started to design studios in software and basically send off designs to other studios, be like, hey, you can have these designs for free. Just make sure you put that I was a part of this multi-million-dollar project. And had people alter their studios from my designs just simply based on geometry and math and the acoustics and how it would work, how you can get a noise floor from negative 25 decibels to, or not negative, 25 decibels down to 23 decibels. Super boring stuff. But I was able to translate that into my own home and building the big studio, this studio. What I do with this, though, like in terms of audio, I'm super selfish now. Like I was sick of not recording my own music. I was always having to record other people's music for money. I said, screw that. I want to use my studio exactly how I want to use it, and that's for YouTube now. Yeah. I still do music. It's good. They're going to be available for the patrons. I've got a couple hundred unreleased tracks. One of the patrons has like 60% of it down in Vegas. And I'm more than willing to post for the Patreon page. They've got to ask me though, because I'm so critical of my own music that like if you ask me for some unreleased songs, I'd be more than happy to give them to you.
Yeah.
And no matter how good you guys think they're going to be, to me, I can hear every single flaw. I can tell you the difference between an MP3 file and a WAV format just by listening. You know what I mean? That kind of status.
Yeah. No, I think that's just part of it, sort of an ongoing desire to be really good at what you do, isn't it? I've taken some banging photos, particularly over the last kind of 6 months that I've been looked at, and I've gone, fuck yes, that's all right. And then, I'll post it on social media, or I'll just kind of look at it the next day and go, do you know what? That's not as good as I thought it was. And it doesn't matter how many people say, that's the tits, that's amazing. But, you can look at it and go, yeah, but that green.
But you can pick it out.
Yeah.
You can pick it out. I know that feeling. So when I hear an artist say, oh no, I'd rather no one see it, I'm like, hey, much respect. I understand.
Yeah.
I can totally get that.
Absolutely. So seeing as we're on a vape show, I guess we better talk about some vaping. Let's have a little chat about what we're vaping on, and then we'll worry about if you've got anything new in that you want to show off or anything like that. But I'm going to put the camera just on you for a second. So what are you vaping on at the minute?
Myself, the Shogun by iJoy, which I think is a phenomenal device comparative to their piece of shit Mystique that they sent out at the same time. And I was like, why would you even send the Mystique out when you've got something like the Shogun? And then I'm also vaping on my custom built Coke mod that I'm still testing out right here. This was a radio, a vintage radio.
That's immense.
Appreciate it, man. And then I'm gonna I basically have a Bluetooth module that I'm soldering on. Hopefully it'll be here today, to the speaker that I left into the box. So this will be a full-blown, a new version of a vintage radio, Bluetooth connectivity on a mod.
That's awesome. What kind of power is it? Just like a couple of 18650s, or what are you using to power it?
Yeah, dual 18650s, and then I'm going to have another just the stock LiPo that comes with that Bluetooth speaker. So I think that's going to be a 900 milliamp hour, 3.7 volt, a single cell LiPo. And this will be given, I'm building several of these that will be given away on my Patreon page. Real quick story about this. My son walked into the garage, into the shop, and I've got these Altoid tins setting out, waiting to be built into mods. And I've also got a giant vise that my son likes to watch, that YouTube channel with the crush stuff and the hydraulic press.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there on my phone. I think I was posting to Instagram. I was doing something. He was right next to me. And I see him messing with the vise, but it's nothing new. So I just let him do what he does. He goes, Dad, check this out. And he has crushed the Patreon Altoid tin box mod. And I wanted to get upset, but I couldn't because I was sitting right there. I could have taken 2 seconds to just look to my left and see what he was doing. So I told him, the next time you destroy something, just do me a favor and ask first. So now I've got to order a bunch of empty ones.
That's ridiculously cool, though.
Yeah. He felt bad. I'm like, no, don't feel bad. It wasn't your fault, dude. Of course, on the inside, I'm just pissed.
So what else have you got going on? Anything? Are you vaping on anything else at the moment?
That's it. And then I've just got a box of stuff from Hellvape, so I'll see what's inside that bad boy.
Okay, cool. Well, I've got I better put the camera on me. In fact, no, I'm going to put it on the down camera, that one. So I'm rocking the one of the OG rigs. I think this is one of the first rig mods that I got from the guys, and I sort of dug this out and I stuck the new or the newer rig mod worldwide RDA sitting on top of that at the moment. So I'm banging through that, and nice to get back to this. This is. I mean, I opened up earlier on and started this vlog talking about James's passing, but Rig had such or still has such a kind of a known name in the mech market, in the mech world, that I think particularly like maybe a year or two ago, it was that thing that whenever you wanted a mech, you either wanted a rig or you wanted an AV, and that was kind of how you rolled. So it was nice to be able to pull this bad boy out again and have a little bit of a pool on that one. So I'm enjoying that one. I've also got the Basium, stainless steel Basium with the Hadley on top. I've been rocking the fuck out of this. I've got a good old scratch down the side of it. Rocking the fuck out of this. This is one of my prototypes, and having a jolly good time with that one. And we've got a couple of things. I've also got the Bonza that I've just taken the battery out so that can get charged up. Been rocking that as well and having a jolly good time. But when it comes to the new stuff, I'm going to need my keyboard again now. New stuff and new bits and bobs. You said that you've got the stuff in from Vape today. Have you got anything else that you want to anything that's come in this week that you've thought, oh, that's interesting?
This week I'm going to be trying to do, hopefully if that Bluetooth chip comes in today, or if the Bluetooth speaker, I'm going to be doing a DIY mod build. I'm going to be really careful on how I present it, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Video, and then I'm going to be reviewing, I call it the doo-doo brown dildo right here. This is basically a LAN clone, which is unfortunate because, believe it or not, the doo-doo brown dildo has got a bit of a tighter draw than the original LAN one.
Yeah.
And it's just nice. It's nice. So this I'll be reviewing. The Vape stuff I'll be reviewing. And then a Smoant Carrot that they are convinced is better than the S8. And I told them, no, it is not. It is not better than it. The MTL's better, but it produces about 75% of the power that the S8 did, which is unfortunate because this could have been a killer. Right.
And I mean, those little sort of pod systems have got so kind of funky, fashionable, and sort of all over the show. I mean, I had a great one from from France. Can't remember. It was Le Carte from Jaywell, and I really enjoyed that. I thought that was a great little mouth to lung. Did you ever get one of those?
Yeah, a while back this summer, it was the La carte. Excusez-moi, mon chéri, c'est pas le français type status. And it looks like a credit card, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was probably one of the worst pod systems I've ever used. Only because I paid a bunch of money for it.
Yeah.
And the very first hit, and I waited like probably 10, 15 minutes of it in my pocket, so I know that the liquid was even warm to soak into that cotton, burnt immediately, and it only comes with one reservoir.
Yeah, no, that was that. The fact that it only came with the one was an absolute nightmare, and the reason that I didn't do a review on it is because I actually had a really good experience. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic, but I only had the one, so I couldn't. You can't test a bunch of different juices and see how the coils hang out. You know what I mean? So it was just a fucking nightmare.
And I think I paid $60 for it. Which is that's a lot of money for a pod system. And to tell you the truth, it's probably one of the nicest, most sleekest pods I've ever had.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think it looks classy as fuck as well, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. It does. Especially because I like the fact that it looks like it's like 4 or 5 credit cards thick.
Yeah,
you can fit it inside your wallet if need be.
Yeah.
Which I don't suggest, but you could.
Yeah. Absolutely. So I've got something that is interesting. I've had 2 things come in over the last week, and like I say, generally I tend to turn most things down, but occasionally, as you know, stuff just rocks up at your door without any kind of warning. And I've got a couple of things I'm just going to show people, so you'll have to see the feed to be able to see this one, I'm afraid, Naz. But we've got this little puppy. This is from Vandy Vape. This is called the Apollo Kit. And it's strange. It's a strange looking little mouth to lung kit. Now, as we know, Vandy Vape and Geek Vape tend to kind of release similar things at the similar sort of times. And I know Geek Vape just released a like a mouth to lung little kit as well. But this is tiny. It's got a little kind of super light lipo in there. I wasn't sure if it was running on capacitors when I first got it. Crazy light, just kind of a straight up voltage situation. And this tank is a stupid tight, like crazy berserker tight little mouth to lung tank, which is kind of an interesting thing. I don't know how I feel about the look of it, but I
think it's fucking cool.
It's got this kind of rubbery stuff going around the outside of it. So, but it's just ridiculously light. Crazy light, but it's an interesting little piece of kit, so I've been rocking that one a little bit recently. Now this next one is something that came in today, and I showed my patrons, and this is a beast. This is huge. This is a dual 18650 Lux 200 mod from who's it from? Coil Art, but dual 18650, like I said, and those batteries, man, it's a big old mod for two little cells. It's a big old beast. In as much as we're talking about old stuff earlier on, this is my old original OG Sigeli 100 watt 18650. This was heavily butchered years ago because this had the removable or manually adjustable copper 510. So I ripped that out and put a Fat Daddy in there, and it looks disgusting. But looking,
it looks so clean. Like, looks like it's never been trapped. Nothing.
Oh, I don't know about that. I used this hard for a long time. But no, size-wise, it's a little bit longer than this.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry, bro. I was looking at the red one. I'm looking at the delay. My bad.
There we go.
I was like, that's not a Sigeli 100 watt.
Yeah, this little puppy is. I mean, it's the old Sigeli is longer, but it's actually thinner than this Apollo kit. And it's kind of pretty much the same kind of width. So, I mean, we were talking earlier on about kind of old school stuff coming back again. But the angles on this reminded me hard of this old school sort of Sigeli kind of box feeling where the corners are really sharp and the edges are really sharp. And this feels exactly the same way. I cannot figure. It's so big and bulky for two 18650s that I can't figure out how to hold this and it be remotely comfortable. It's confusing the fuck out of me. But it's got a big old screen, very similar to the sort of the Aegis that we've seen in the past. And it's got this tank that it comes with and the old mesh coils. And how do you feel about this? I'm interested in your thoughts on this one, because one of the things that really, really annoys me, like you would not believe, is the fact that so many tanks now are coming through with stock coils and they don't tell you the material of the stock coil.
Yep.
I mean, what the fuck is that about?
Every time I go to do a review and I'll trip up and say Canth, I'm like, wait, I shouldn't say that because I don't know. And I'll go ahead and read through the literature.
Yeah.
And I either can't find the information or it's not readily there. We're a year ago and a year to a year and a half ago, you are guaranteed to find that information right there on the website, right there in the next to the tank. You'll see it on the coil, and now it's not being printed up anywhere. And I'm like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah, exactly.
People, I still know people who use temp control and go and purchase, they go out of the way to purchase titanium, whatever they may be using. I'm assuming that when it doesn't say anything, it's Canthal, but I no longer feel confident in saying so in a review.
Yeah. Now, I was shocked because I had to find some looking into the Falcon coils. So I wanted to get the Falcon F1, I think it was, because a load of people say these Falcon coils are really good and the Falcon tanks are really good. So I wanted to get the coils to put into something else, and I couldn't find anywhere any information on what they were actually made of. And I ended up getting in touch with Horizon Tech and found out that I think that like the mesh ones, or the one of them was Canthal and one of them was Ni200, not Ni200, N80. And there was nothing about it anywhere. And I'm a little bit delicate because I am a delicate little flower. So If I vape a lot of if I vape a
when
lot
I
of
look at
N80,
you, the first thing I think of is, oh, that beautiful pedal.
exactly. When I vape N80, I tend to get headaches and just feel a bit ropey, as you like. So clearly, nickel, like hardcore nickel, doesn't do me any favors. So I stay away from N80 coils, but not being able to easily get that information, that's not cricket, is it?
No, it's not. It's no bueno.
And it's almost as annoying as people that send you stock coil tanks with only the 1 or 2 coils that it comes with. That to me is just like, well, how the fuck am I going to review that when I can't properly test them, you know?
I'm trying to think of who just sent me, who did it proper. RevTech. They also pissed me off, and I never reviewed their product too. So they're ironically one of the only companies who sent out their entire line of coils for that tank. Yeah. And then and it was and the mod. Problem is that they never got back to me. Like, I had 3 or 4 email exchanges on why my mod was still auto firing, and they just stopped responding. So I said, all right, fuck it, then I'm not going to review your shit. It's that simple. Really? And then after that, got back to me. It was like, oh, sorry about that. After I put it up on Instagram, I'm like, well, you should have been sorry about it. I talked to somebody 3 or 4 times via email. No one wanted to send me a replacement.
That's crazy.
Oh, but what I was getting at is that they sent out the whole line of coils. That to me is a review. When I watch a review, I want to know how. If I'm going to when you invest in something, I don't just want to know what the upfront cost is. I want to know price of maintenance or cost of maintenance. I want to know if there's options for coils. iJoy has one of the most extensive coil lineups with the M coils, the MKs or K. I forget which one's MK Ultra. That's not right. All sorts of coils, and I've tried almost every single one of them. They're phenomenal.
Yeah. Phenomenal
coils. Still not my favorite coil for my daily vape, which is, I always preface that because my daily vape is a hardcore 16 milligram 50/50 menthol. Mm-hmm. And there's really only a couple of coils that can keep up with the. It's very sweet, but it's not like hurt your teeth sweet, and it's extremely strong. I've yet to find a mesh coil that really brings the specific flavors out, those subtle flavors that I want brought out.
Yeah, I must admit, when it comes to mesh, I've always despised mesh with a passion only found with Fat Kids and Peter. I really hated it. But recently, or more recently, I think when that Profile RDA came out and from Wotofo, I thought that was interesting. I still wasn't really on board with it, but it was the best mesh experience on an RDA I'd had. And then when Innikins, is it their Prism coils? Is it Prism coils? Mm-hmm. Those I thought were fantastic. And like the dual coil one that's got 2 little tiny mesh things in there, I think they're superb. Really good. I've
heard nothing but good things, and I haven't tried. Same with the Profile. I know Joel, who texted me a couple weeks ago, hint, hint, tenacious, I know you're watching. And he's like, oh, bro, I got you. I'm like, you said that 3 months ago. So I still want to try the Profile. Knowing me, he's going to say that shit until it's like summer of 2019. They're on clearance for $4. He's going to send me a box, and then I can review them when no one cares anymore. It hurts my heart. Joel, if you hear this, bro, I'm depressed.
I think you're not someone that rushes a review out, are you? You test the fuck out of something before you stick a review out.
I test the shit out of them. I drop them. That's my big thing. I'm super clumsy just in real life.
Yeah.
So for me, the most important part is how it can look as pretty as it looks. I don't care if it's beautiful. I do care if it's beautiful. I want it to be pretty and durable.
Yeah.
Asmodus is my favorite vape company, like way before we ever started working on an RDA together. Mm-hmm. And they have some of the most durable chipsets, some of the least durable bodies because they're wood. And I've broken all of my high-end $350 Asmodus mods. All of them. I've broken all of them. And they're still my favorite. But they just feel like I'm special when I vape them.
Yeah, yeah.
It's an X factor. The Shogun, dude, the Shogun feels like that. I love this iJoy. I love this thing.
Yeah.
And I already gave it away, and I don't want to. I feel depressed that I gave it away.
Have you reviewed that?
Yeah, I just put the review out last week. I think Friday.
Okay. I need to catch up on my YouTube. I'm shit at watching other YouTubers.
I was just watching your not the Hermetic. Was it Hermetic? No, not the Hermetic. You just put out a review in the past, not even month, and it was 46 minutes long.
No, I haven't done a review for 46 minutes.
Yeah.
No, not this year.
Nah, you did.
Unless it was a live review. It could have been if I do it.
No, it was live. It was live.
Yeah. Ah, there we go. Yeah. If it's a live one, then yeah.
I had you on in the background of the shop. Let's see. And my son comes out in the shop and it's like, is that Stampy? Like, that's not Stampy, dude. Who's a Minecraft YouTuber. You do sound just like him. It's pretty awesome.
Nice. I'll have to have a look now.
The show was the Shogun RDA.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, from Vapors Cloud. I really like that little RDA. I thought that was a little flavour banger. I enjoyed it. I know it kind of got a little bit of a differing response. People either really liked it or not so keen. But then they came out with a load of different decks and different or coloured decks, material decks, and top caps and stuff. And I've got to do a little thing. I think I showed them off on a vlog once, but that's about it. But oops, and one of my lights has just gone out, so I'm now all moody. Look at that. What? Yeah. So there's a bunch of those sort of things, but I like to test the crap out of stuff, and it means that you don't necessarily always get stuff out as quickly as other people, and that I don't think that's a bad thing, to be honest.
I don't either. I'm super. I'm overwhelmed sometimes because I look at some people like Jay Hayes, Bogan. A lot of these guys that can pump out like 6-7 reviews a week. I'm like, bro, I cannot keep up with that pace because my editing itself, I don't speak in a straight line. I just don't. My brain is super all over the place, and that's the exact same way I talk. So when I'm editing, I have to take out, I can make a 20-minute review, but little do people know there's 50 minutes of footage that went into it.
Yeah. Oh, I get that. I did, I think for my overpowered video, I think I had about 22 gig or something daft like that, a horrific amount.
Holy shit.
That I had to then kind of compress into 16 minutes or whatever it was, which was, it was still I think it was, even after compression, it was like a 1.5 gig file, which was crazy really. But, so we've got pretty much to the end of 2018. Where do you think we'll go to sort of questions and what have you in the chat in a little while, but what do you think about where vaping is in 2018 before we start looking into the new year?
We are in a rebirth. I think that we're going to start seeing real innovation in terms of tanks, RDAs, and it's going to be rethought. I think people are going to start how do you say that? Back to the drawing board.
Yeah.
I feel like we've done just about everything we can do with your everyday RDA and your everyday RTA.
Yeah.
And I feel like round is beautiful. I love big booty. I love me some curvy chicks, little waist, cute face, and a big behind. But I think we're going to start seeing some more angles coming up. And now this is just pure speculation. On me, in terms of tanks, I think that we're going to start seeing some bizarre stuff. I'm excited for it. Like, I'm genuinely excited for it. Yeah. I haven't been excited about vaping, like, in terms of that in a long time.
Yeah.
What about you?
I think it's a case where we need to get more mods that are ergonomic, that feel good in the hand. Essentially, a mod just powers that coil. So it's nice to have all of the whizzy bells and whistles and stuff. It's great. I never actually tried the Evolve Go chip that's in the Lost Vape Orion, is it?
Yep.
But I really like the some of the stuff that Evolve are doing when it comes to their processes and their kind of understanding of what's going on. So I think there's going to be more development when it comes to what powers our mods. But I think there really needs to be a push on the shape of mods, you know, to get things to feel better, that can really kind of take, you know, a couple of decent 21700s that it still doesn't feel like a behemoth in the hand, you know, that feels nice and is functional. And that's a key thing for me. I think we've kind of got to, we're now going back with mods like this. We're going backwards with regards to design of what powers our coils. But I think we're going to see, we've got to see some more development when it comes to stuff that looks good, feels great, and does a good job, you know?
I agree 100%. You remember the Limitless, one of the V1 Limitless box mod, and how heavy, clunky, and it's just like that Sigella you were just showing. I'm looking at some old mods right now. They're literally just boxes. And I'm looking at one of the ones that I liked a lot. That was one of the worst chipsets because they all just broke. They all just stopped working one day. It was the Stride by something Star. Right. I think it was owned. I forget who owned it, but that's a beautiful mod. If that had a 2700 or 21700 battery in it, that'd have been a phenomenal mod. And what was I using the other day? It was the Detonator by Squid Industries.
Uh-huh.
It's super ergonomic, but it's unique. It's not just ergonomic, because if you think about, to me, when I hear ergonomic, my first thing, very American of me, goes to my rifles and pistols.
Yeah.
Is I think of a pistol grip, but I don't like pistol grip mods in the pocket. It doesn't feel good in the pocket. And you can only grab a pistol grip from one direction. Mm-hmm. I like that when my box is sitting down, frontwards, backwards, or sideways, it doesn't matter. I can grab it, hit the button from this side. I can grab it, hit the button with my thumb. A box is super versatile in that sense, where a pistol grip it can only be hit with your finger like this.
Yeah.
So I think what you just said is really, you can go really far with that. If you're a designer and you want to challenge yourself, what you just said is where we need to be. Your Basium is like that too. It's not exactly pocket friendly.
No. Unless you want it to bulge in the front there just to make it look like you're a bit, marvelous.
Look like some robot dick. It's all squared off. Yeah. But that thing is super ergonomic, and that's a perfect editing bay desk where I'm sitting in the studio. I have that thing, and it's not going to tip over, which is my favorite part. Yeah. Super clumsy.
Yeah.
Love that. I think you even mentioned that in the video about you. You didn't want it to tip over.
Yeah. Yeah, that was because I knock stuff over all the time. With 100% just kind of knock stuff over. So with the Basium, I wanted something that was small but functional, because there's a reason why it's a square anyway. But it also means that you don't knock it over every 5 seconds. So it just kind of works out well for me. And also it was one of those things that it looked, because of the shape, it looked massive on the Instagram pictures. And then you got it in your hand and it's like, well, it's not that big anyway.
It's a pretty mod to take a picture of, though. It's super photogenic. I know that sounds really weird, but I just like vape photography a lot. Yeah. I like to see what people can do. Some mods are not photogenic. Like they can even be pretty in real life. But I'll give you a good example. Some of them look very corporate. The Nautilus AIO, in my opinion, is one of my favorite all-the-one systems right now of all time still. Uh-huh. It's a very corporate, very suit and tie. It doesn't have any character to it at all.
Yeah.
And it's really plain Jane. The Basium, for example, is very plain Jane, but it has a lot of character. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It reminds you of it reminds me of a Ferrari versus like a McLaren, where McLaren's very machine, very computerized, very little soul, where Ferrari's quite the opposite, but it's just as beautiful. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that was, I mean, I think with the Basium, it's definitely a kind of beauty's in the eye of the beholder kind of situation, because some people really dig it, and then other people are like, nope, that's just not going anywhere near me. But
that's how you know you made a good device, though.
Absolutely.
In my opinion, if you made something where everyone was again, I'll go back to the Nautilus AO. I've never heard anyone say it was ugly. I don't think it's ugly. I also don't have strong feelings to say it's pretty either. You know what I mean? It's very corporate.
Yeah.
It's safe. It's a safe design.
Yeah. Absolutely. So with that in mind, I mean, we've seen a lot of regurgitation of old school designs and all that sort of stuff in 2018. Hopefully we're going to get some more going in 2019, and hopefully we're going to get some more reviewers coming onto YouTube that care about what they're doing, and they're not doing it for free stuff and all that sort of nonsense. Is there anything you'd like to see out there in the reviewing space that isn't there at the moment and that nobody's doing?
So this is just a personal thing. I don't like internet drama just because I don't think it helps the industry look good at all. Yeah. And it takes away focus on advocacy. This isn't to toot my own horn, but I've been advocating in person, like at town meetings, town halls, at the city centers, at the capitals, for a long time. That is the most important part. And I hate to sound like I'm standing on a soapbox, but it's the truth. And internet advocacy is phenomenal. We need that. You know what I mean? Especially with, what is that called? Not epidemiology. I forget what it's called. Group studies. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Group studies online with surveys and whatnot. Excuse me. I'd like to see reviewers kind of go back to square one with that.
Yeah.
And I know Grimm still does it a lot, and there are reviewers out there who do it a lot. I'm guilty of not doing it enough on the internet. I'm guilty of not doing it enough on YouTube specifically. But it also has to do with how long it takes for me to get videos out, because by the time the video's out, whatever advocacy project was being worked on is no longer a thing.
Yeah.
Because it moves so quickly, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's that tightrope as a reviewer. It's kind of a tightrope to walk where you kind of get the important information out to people, but unfortunately, there's a large amount, and if not the majority of vapors, who get turned off when you start talking about advocacy, and that's a fucking nightmare, because everyone should care about it, but you know, very few people in that kind of thing want to hear it all the time, which is a bit of a sad state of affairs, really.
Right, and that to me is so the second pro is just going to mention is that if reviewers came together and stopped fucking butting heads, and god damn it, I know that's really difficult because people are human. I don't care what industry it is, humans are going to be human, and some people are not going to get along, but there should be a common goal here, and the common goal is still to get people off of cigarettes and help the vape industry flourish. And there should be, at some point, people should be able to set the differences aside for a second. Just for a fucking second.
Yeah.
What? I forgot who did the suicide awareness. A couple months back.
I was on that for a little while.
Yeah, so was I.
Vaping with Ken.
Yes, Ken. His voice is beautiful, by the way.
Yeah. Oh God, yes.
He could just he could read Anton LaVey's book, and I would just fall asleep. I love it. But for that, for example, people set their shit aside, which is awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
If we could do that just a little more often, that'd be phenomenal.
That would be superb. Just to break in just for a second, just a big thank you to Leah for the little $2 super chat.
Leah Gagliardo, that's one of the Patreons right there. Much love, Leah. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Leah. I think we've got a bunch of the ninja militia floating around.
Oh, fudge, yeah, that's the family right there, man.
You have got a really solid kind of following on YouTube as well, and you've got a lot of real kind of strong ninjas out there. When did you start calling people ninjas?
It was a joke in the beginning. It was a joke, and I don't know what happened. But then one day I was talking to Ruby Roo and Amy Hanks. We were down in Colorado at Vape Expo, Mile High Vape Expo, and Ruby had hashtag Ruby Crew, and I was like, screw it, I'm going to do the Ninja Militia. Yeah. As a joke, and she's like, that's a really good name. She's like, I'm really pissed off I didn't think about that. I'm like, all right, it's mine. And that's where it started. And then the Ninja Militia actually took on a lot of meaning after that.
Yeah.
And I credit these guys so much, because without them, not only do I not have a job, but they, like, when I say that I'm just as loyal to them as that they are to me, like, if you message me, it's me messaging you back. If you comment on the YouTube channel, it's me commenting back 100% of the time. It's if you hit me up on Snapchat. But if you're on the Patreon page, like, I will throw you my cell phone number. If you got an issue, I will fucking talk to you.
Yeah. Yeah, possibly shouldn't have said that on YouTube, because now you're going to get a load of patrons just go, oh, I can get his phone number. Oh.
Some fake pay. Oh, they pay $1 right there to get. It's $1 for Thesis' phone number.
Dick pics at any time of the day or night. Crack on.
That's awesome.
Right, I think those people in chat should start thinking about questions to throw at. Start them with at Vaping with Thesis or at Vaping Biker, however you want to go. And if you can put your question in uppercase, in capital letters, that would be fantastic, just because I'm an old man and it helps me be able to see what's going on, because, you know, eyesight. So that would be great. So get those questions coming in if you've got them.
Got to interrupt you, dude. I got to fanboy out. So real quick, guys, I've been a fan of Vaping Biker for a long time, and I was super intimidated by him, especially in the early days. I remember the first time him and I talked. It was in the morning time. I know this because he's 6 hours different. I had my boxers on. I hadn't even showered yet. And this dude was clean shaved, fresh fade, not clean shaved face, but like perfectly groomed beard. And in the perfect lighting, this dude looked like a British model. I didn't want Mandy then to come into the room, because I'm like, no, you're going to see this dude and you're going to leave me and move to Britain. So, dude, thank you so much for having me on. I've looked up to you for a long time. I love the way you carry yourself as a person, as a reviewer, as a vapor. And I gawk at your color grading. I don't know what the fuck it is you're using. I don't want to be disrespectful and ask on live stream, but it's amazing. Do you sit there and adjust that for every review?
Yeah. Yeah.
You take that time.
Yeah. That's why I don't do as many reviews as I'd like, because like you were saying earlier on, you spend so long trying to do the edit. Once I kind of get on my B-roll and all that sort of stuff, I'll film way more B-roll than I use. And I'll have, half an hour's worth of just B-roll footage, which I then condense into like 2 minutes, which is great fun.
So I started using B-roll recently too. And did I ever tell you how it happened? How the B-roll came into?
No.
So I had a giant booger in my nose. And I thought it was only for 10 or 15 seconds at the end. Come to find out, it was basically the entire last wrap-up, which is basically the majority of the show. So I had to fucking film B-roll with my phone and place it over me talking and do like quick 2-second snips of me talking and then just like go to the B-roll.
Yeah.
And ever since then, I was like, holy shit, Vaping Biker has something going here. Because it looked great. You know what I mean? Especially at the time before I got the GH5, the servo in the iPhone camera is phenomenal. The lens to keep it, how do you say that? Like looks like a gimbal?
Yeah.
Stabilization is phenomenal in that thing. I still think it's better than most $400, $500, $600 cameras. I feel like the iPhone's better than that.
Yeah. It's just the problem is you don't get your depth of you don't have your kind of nice bokeh in the background and the nice blur.
You use a 1.8 lens, though, right?
Huh?
It looks like you use a 1.8 lens.
Yeah. I use it depends on what I'm shooting. I'll use a different lens for different things. Like at the minute, I've got 2.8 on a Sigma lens at the minute.
I use mine's a 1.8 or 2.8. That's just for I only have the Lumix lens that I bought with the GH5. Yeah. How many GH5s are you running?
I'm on Canons these days. I'm Canon all the way. I've got just got the 77D and the 200D that I use sort of most of the time. I've got a couple of other cameras floating about, but those are my daily drivers, and the 77 is what I use for photography as well. And
you use you don't, because how's your workflow work? Like how does that work?
Just fucking chaos.
Okay, good. Mine too. I have to move. I move the Lumix from the desk over here so I can get the top shot, the side shot, and now I'm doing the shot of my face at the same time.
Yeah.
So all just going back and forth. And now I said, screw that. I'm just going to overlay my face over the other frame, on the top right-hand corner. But that's – if people knew how much work went into doing stuff like that.
It's a nightmare. It's a fucking nightmare. But let's have a look and see if we've got any questions going on. Will Boyles is saying, Vaping with Thesis, who is the guy behind you? What?
Don't fucking say that. My fiance scares me during the live streams, and it's genuine fear. I never expect it to happen. It just happens.
You've been doing a lot of live streams, haven't you, with her, and you've got a nice little kind of. It's a weekly thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's every Thursday. Her and I are live, and then Saturday is Patreon live stream that they usually get deleted because they get real raunchy real quick. And I invite the Patreon, if any, like I just post the invite link on the Patreon page. They can join. And then Sundays we're doing, not every Sunday, it's going to be specifically we're going to delve into what's going, like vape news. And I don't know if I should be talking about this, but I'm going to anyway. We are having an official podcast where it's going to be much more professionally produced. We're going to have sponsors, VML Labs is sponsoring it. Paid sponsors for it and shit. We're going to see how this goes. It's going to be an audio podcast between myself, my homeboy Andrew, and then Beauty and the Vape, Christine. Mm-hmm. We're going to figure this out. And my dream has been for years since I was a kid. I've always wanted to do talk radio. And I never liked Howard Stern, but I really respect the guy.
Yeah.
And I'm really into podcasts. I've been into podcasts since like 2010, 2009-ish. And I feel like that's like one of my end games. Like that would be something I would love to get into. Yeah. I've
only recently got into podcasts, and I'm kind of the WTF with Mark Maron is my favorite podcast of all time.
It's a classic. It's a classic. If I was going to introduce someone to podcasts, I would say Mark Maron for sure. I'm still a hardcore, have been since 2010-ish, 2012-ish. is Rogan. I kind of still like his older style of podcasts. I listen to them religiously. Every single podcast I still listen to from, A to B.
Yeah.
But if you listen to the old ones, like I'd be belly laughing, rolling my ass off, looking dumb as fuck in public, laughing.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to lift weights when you're giggling to yourself. You know what I mean? The Church of What's Happening Now with Joe Diaz, but my spirit animal is and always will be Bert Kreischer, the Machine. It's like, but if I was going to suggest to you a podcast that I think you would laugh to the point where you wouldn't know what to do with yourself is Small Town Murder.
Okay.
And Crime in Sports. It's both the same dudes, and it helps if you know that the two dudes doing it are fucking some of the most real, down to earth, rags to riches type dudes.
Gotcha.
There were nobodies. One of them tried to commit suicide several times, and they're comedians, and they basically quit stand up just to do this full time. Bro, Small Town Murder they're like my last meal podcast. Like if I had to listen to one podcast for the rest of my life, it'd be that one. How you, when you're in prison, you're about to be put to death, they give you one last meal. If I had one last podcast to listen to, it'd be that one. Small Town Murder. What other ones have?
Huh?
Oh, what? Go ahead.
No, I was just going to go into saying Ronnie Cash says at Thesis, why are you so fucking sexy? Which, I think is a fair question because you are a damn good looking man. I was in two minds about whether to bring you on just because, you're a bit looker.
Dude, I am as sexy as I am because I'm always trying to be as dope as Ronnie Cash. That's why.
Rawhead is asking a question that I can never answer this because there's so many variables on it. But what's your opinion when someone asks you, like Rawhead is asking here, best RTA direct lung of all time?
The Alliance. It's not even a question. Gotcha. Oh, direct lung. The Alliance. Gotcha. The original.
What else we got? Vaping Biker, why do you think the Quad Flex design style didn't take off? Loving mine after your video. The Quad Flex, what was the Quad Flex? Was that thing by Aspire?
I don't even recognize the name.
Was that I think that might have been like the 4-in-1 thing where you can have a tank, a sub-ohm tank, an RDA and a thing. I'm not entirely sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know why it didn't take off? Because it's too complicated. People had to think. The Quad Flex, yes. Oh, shit, hold on, my effects are on. La, la, la. There we go. Yeah, it's too much. It was too much to think about. I thought it was phenomenal.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good value for money. But I do think, pardon me, you could easily lose a bit and then you'd be fucked. And
How did you feel about those stove coils?
No.
I'm on the same boat. I'm in the same boat. People got mad at me with that review. They said, you're fucking stupid, this, that, that. I'm like, dude, it's an opinion.
We were rocking stovetops 4 years ago, 5 years ago, and they were shit then.
They were shit then, they're shit now, stop making them.
Exactly. Show and Tell Vapes is asking, what's everyone's favourite RDA of 2018? Have you got a favourite RDA?
Me? I got several. There's a few that I really enjoyed, but the one that pops out the top of my head is the BTFC by Vape and Fagin. I think he did a phenomenal job. Mm-hmm. I think if it comes to an RDA, I don't want no bullshit ass MTL. I want clouds flavor.
Yeah.
In that order.
Yeah.
Flavor, yes, but when I hit an RDA, there's no feeling of hitting like a 14-foot cloud from a freshly charged 18650 Mac. Oh.
Yeah. Now here's a question that me and Todd have argued about for a long time. We've often brought it up on the channel. I've always said that mouth to lung, regardless of whether you go 50-50 or whatever you've got going on, is not the same amount of flavour that you get from a sort of a big old direct lung cloudy affair. And that's mainly because it's less vapour. It's less of that juice going into your mouth. Where do you stand on that? Have you got... you go hardcore menthol when you're doing mouth to lung anyway, but do you think clouds equals more flavour as well as bigger clouds, or where do you go?
Not only do I agree with you, but I don't my mind doesn't compute on how less vapor equals more flavor.
Yeah, no, exactly.
I don't understand that.
100%. That confuses the fuck out of me.
Me too. When people talk about the tortoise and the rabbit. I'm like, no, that's a cute philosophical thing to say, but the rabbit's going to win. It's, of course, dependent upon distance, but going faster is going faster, going slower is going slower, more vapor is more flavor, less vapor is less flavor. You know what I mean? Now, here's the thing. Do you find that salt nick liquid, for example, you get more flavor on an MTL, though, than you would on a wide open?
No, but then again, with salt nicks, I'm not really on board with them, to be honest. I never increase my nicotine when it comes to mouth to lung anyway.
My mouth to lung has to. I enjoy the feeling of I want a brawny man fist with a toilet bowl cleaner in the back of my throat. That's my favorite feeling, is the throat hit. That's why I used to smoke Cool Hundreds.
Right.
You know, so I didn't like salt nicks at first, but now I'm hook, line, and sinker. Jewel, it's called Jewel Mint right now, is my personal favorite, and it is the throat hit on it is whoo. If you're not ready for it, it'll fuck your day up. That's what I'm vaping right. And it's funny because the pod systems that I use, the MTL, there is more flavor, or not more. There's different flavor in an MTL with salt nicks than there is in a wide open.
Yeah.
It's not more or less. It's just different notes.
Yeah. Oh, it definitely brings out different types of things. Alex is saying or asking, Vaping with Thesis, why are you called Thesis?
The group I was signed with is TNT. The group, the hip hop group, it was Thesis and Theory, and it was a play on each other. So when we would write lyrics, we'd go back and forth. So we'd go stanza by stanza. So similar to Beastie Boys, but not similar concept, but not at all similar. If that makes sense, because ours was more thought provoking and party stuff. But I literally used to write thesis papers. Like, it was a hobby. It still is. Like, I just wrote another one not that long ago on, what the fuck was it? I forget. But hold on a second. Pudge Wudgie. Do you know what a Pudge Wudgie is, bro?
No.
All right, then you're not going to get this. But I just wrote a full-blown, 3-page theses just to myself, just because I like writing. And I'll write them, I'll write fucking full descriptions on reviews that I won't share. And I just enjoy writing. So that's where Thesis came from. I like to be opinionated. When I'm opinionated about something, I like to be really well educated on it.
Gotcha.
But that's it.
And that's a really strong kind of perspective to come from when it comes to reviewing. You're putting stuff on YouTube, so that kind of wanting to have that background and knowledge and understanding of a product only helps you to a better review at the end of the day.
Exactly.
Which I think is fantastic. Also, Dave Ape is asking, why is Mandy called Finance? Because you often have Finance Mandy with you on a podcast, on a live stream. So tell us about that, if you can.
I don't remember. I think it was because my phone autocorrect. My phone autocorrected it to finance on accident because I didn't spell fiance, and I'm like, fuck it. From now on, Mandy, you are Finance Mandy.
That's amazing.
I tend to roll with shit in my life.
Yeah, that's got to be done. Vape for Fun is asking, what do we think of products from Steam Crave? And Steam Crave used to be on point for tanks 3 years ago. But I've not really... You had that big old mod, didn't you? Did you?
Yeah. I'll tell you the truth. If Steam Crave put as much thought into that mod, into the RDAs as they did the mod, I thought the mod was phenomenal. I loved the Titan, only because it was simple, it was big, it was stupid, it's impractical. It's basically me in a mod. There was no reason, there was no practicality or logic even fucking thought about with that device, and that's who I am.
Yeah.
I'm impractical. So I loved it. I think their RDAs are for shit. That's just in and out. I'm not saying all of them. I'm saying all of the ones I've ever tried have been shit. I can't get them to wick. The one time I was able to get the aromomizer to work was one of the best RTA experiences I've ever had.
Yeah.
The problem is, after that point, it got so finicky that I'm like, fuck it. It's not worth spending hours. You shouldn't spend an hour wicking. And 30 milliliters later, that's wasted.
Yeah.
What about you? What's your experience with them?
Yeah, I mean, I think the original aromomizer was a game changer. Having that kind of that diffused airflow coming in directly to the coils underneath the tank, it was fantastic. And you're right, it was an absolute bitch to get to wick properly. But once you got it down, it was an amazing vape. It was really, really good. I must admit, I've not really tried anything from them for some time. Not mainly because I don't really do tanks, so that's not really my kind of bag, and I never got round to getting the that big Titan mod. But no, I mean, I don't really know enough about them to have an opinion, but I do know that aroma. I think there was another tank as well. There was the aromomizer and one other that a few years ago kind of made me go, "Oh shit, you can get this from a tank. This is amazing," and I was really into that one.
What's the best RTA experience you ever had?
To be honest with you, I have no idea.
That's a solid answer. I like that. I'd rather you give me that answer than a bullshit one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just I'm not a big tank guy, so I'm so much of not a tank guy that when I do build one, because I send them to try out, and I'll maybe show on a Monday Night Live or something. But I don't really review them unless they really blow me away. I really enjoyed the Berserker. I know a lot of people were once again on the fence about that one, or did or didn't like it. But as a mouth-to-lung tank that was affordable to give you that kind of K-Fun-esque kind of vape, I really enjoyed that.
God, the K-Fun was one of the turning points in me for vaping. Like with that tank, it was phenomenal. I had probably 15, maybe 20 clones.
Yeah.
Never had an original K-Fun, but all the clones I had were phenomenal. I know we're anti-clone. You guys got to remember this is back in the day. Way back, and Fast Tech was just sending reviewers shit left and right.
We've been asked a few times about the Bonza or the Drop Dead, I think. Have you got any opinions on those?
Bonza, and the reason why I'm saying this, I'm going to preface this with the Bonza, for me, the Bonza 1.5 was such an ease to build on. And there's nothing wrong with either. They're based, to me, in terms of flavor, they're pretty fucking solid. Either one, you can't go wrong, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I had a really solid experience with the Bonza 1.5, and I don't own a Drop Dead. Yeah. I don't own a Drop. I only own a Dead Rabbit RTA. Only because one of my BFFs bought me one, which is amazing about him. But it was the RTA was super finicky for the Dead Rabbit.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah. No, I mean, I love I love the original Bonza, and I love the fact that Sam was quite open about the fact that he wasn't trying to change the world. He was just pulling in some bits and pieces that he liked from other RDAs into his RDA, and I really like it. I would still vape it. I have been vaping it sort of ever since I reviewed it, and the 1.5, I really like it. Obviously. Little bit. The strange one with the mech, with the kit that I've got, is the fact that obviously you've got the copper cap, and it concerns me a little that people aren't going to know about cleaning mods and cleaning copper out and all that sort of stuff. However, I think there's maybe some different colours and different versions of that coming out, which I think are superb. But as far as the RDA goes, I think it's spot on. I really like it. I really like the original Drop. I thought that was fantastic. A little bit bummed that halfway through, when they released some new colours, that the squonk pin was different. So I lost the squonk pin for the new one, so I went to take it out of the old one. Didn't fit. Nightmare. But no, I mean, they're solid RDAs. I think we've got to a point now where we're not going to get better flavour in an RDA. I can't see how it's physically possible. I think we can get a better vape with regards to condensing that flavour and kind of better airflow and less leaking and a whole bunch of good stuff. But I think as far as flavour goes, I can't see how we can get it any better.
I agree. I was going to say I disagree, but then you amended that by saying better airflow, better. The condensate or the density of vapor to me is the most important, because it's how concentrated do you want that flavor versus how airy do you want that flavor, or how mild do you want it. And I think e-liquid, of course, seems really redundant to say, but e-liquid is such an important part. I want to see e-liquid go further. Like mods and innovation in RDAs, RTAs, and mods is phenomenal, but how far can we go with flavor in e-liquid while maintaining a safe something safe to vape on. By the way, before I forget, the green buildup on copper is called cupric chloride. And if you guys, that's something that Dean just touched on that I didn't touch on in the review, and I should, because I'm giving away the copper one shortly on the Patreon page. And as long as you keep your copper clean, you'll be golden. Just like with using copper for cookware, you'll be just fine. But if you ever see any type of buildup, or especially the green, that's cupric chloride, that is a poison that's not good for you. Keep that shit as clean as possible. You also don't want to use. I saw somebody fucking on Instagram using a pipe cleaner, like the bristle brush. Don't use those on copper, please, because you're going to create so many scratches and indents for liquid and for any type of moisture to sit, and that's how that it's basically like copper rust develops.
Yeah. And once you clean them, you've got to rinse the piss out of them. Just rinse like a bastard to make sure. And that goes with anything. A lot of people will use kind of washing up liquid and like weird concoctions to try and clean stuff out, and then go, oh, my vape tastes funny. Well, that's because you're vaping some shit that you shouldn't really be vaping.
Hot water and regular old dish soap will do you wonders.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
Apart from the copper stuff, generally, all of my RDAs just get hot water. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. That's all you need is hot water. If it's really bad, if you really want to go ham on it, a little bit of dish soap I use dish soap on my glass. I take the glass and I usually sit there for fucking, half a dozen minutes, maybe a dozen minutes cleaning my tanks all in a big, pot. And I just take it out to the shop and I use an air compressor to dry it. So that way there's no, water spots on the glass. Yeah. But it all gets dusty anyway. I have 2 giant shelves full of RDAs, RTAs, and whatnot.
Yeah. That's James W. is asking a question there. And I think that you're in a strong position because you do have lots of electronics and all that sort of stuff. About vaping messing with electronics. I've got my opinion on that one. What do you think about that?
It's nowhere near as harmful as smoke, but vaping does, especially in the recording studio environment, as long as you're wiping things down, you can use ammonia, you can use Windex, whatever you use. It does develop a film, but it's not. And I've gotten mixed results using a multimeter. It's not conductive in the same way that water is. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
If you use water, use multimeter, it's going to conduct like crazy. And water is actually a pretty poor conductor, but it's going to short shit out. Vaping is not going to cause that in small quantities. If you're blowing clouds in a closed room, you open it up, you know what I mean? That I wouldn't hugely recommend that if you're building a PC. I wouldn't blow clouds inside your case. But I've never had a problem with it.
No. And I must admit, I've run a lot of electronics in the studios that I've had, and it's never caused a problem because I think the important, as long as you don't sit in there every night and you're basically hotboxing in a small room, then, I think you're pretty good. Make sure that, you do open the window from time to time and you kind of let some air in and clear out some of the vapor. You're generally all right, but keep on top of keeping shit clean otherwise.
Exactly. And if your electronics are newer than 2016 or 2015, most motherboards now is IPX3 or some shit. It's not waterproof.
Yeah.
But for the most part, even motherboards on computers since 2013, 2014, most of the higher end motherboards are not waterproof, but water resistant, splash resistant.
Yeah, absolutely.
Specifically because of the, water cooling. I used to, when I was building water cooled PCs back then, you had non-conductive liquid. But even then, they would still have water-resistant or coolant-resistant motherboards.
Yeah, absolutely. Chronic Blondie's asking if either of us have had the NARDA RDA, the NARDA, the posh one. I haven't. Have you had
the NADA, the NADA?
No, the NARDA, the little sort of expensive posh thing, not the one that Fagan did.
No.
I've
never
heard that one. Todd's your man. Go and check him out. He'll have reviews on that one.
Oh yes, this one. I know what they're talking about. This one reminds me of what is his name? Brett Omboy, not Omboy OC, not Brett something or other came out with an RDA that looks just like this back in 2015 in St. Louis called I forgot. But either way, this NARDA. How much are they charging for it?
I can't remember. It's not. I think it's one of those ones that you'd kind of had to be on a list for. I don't think they were easily available. I could be wrong.
It's just a piece of metal, guys. Calm down.
Yeah.
They're
we've got
fucking
Harry
mods.
Cervello. Sorry, Harry. We've got Harry asking, "Are you excited for the goat from Grimm and Homeboy?" I'm looking forward to seeing it.
want one of these Narda mods.
The mods?
Holy shit.
The mods or the RDA?
The mods. Fuck though, you can keep the RDA.
Stay on track. The goat.
Well, I want goats, dude. I raise chickens.
Oh, hang on, you're looking at pretties. But no, I'm excited to get the goat in. I think Homeboy's sending me a goat to check out.
We're talking about the RDA.
Yes.
Not goats. No,
not goats in general.
Okay. I am probably not on the list, so I probably won't get it. I'll message Grim, see if he responds, but I hope so. I mean, I would love to. I would absolutely. I never even had one of his original RDAs, so fuck. And I've tried it. It's a great RDA.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. I like the idea of the not having to rebuild. It was something that I talked about ages ago, and then Kanga had a go at some dodgy coils at one point in time a couple of years ago. But I'm looking forward to this, and I like the squonk system on it as well. I think that's going to be really cool. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. Bit of a shame that they're using N80 on everything, but I'm going to suffer the headaches on that one. And give it a blast. Right, have we got any other questions? What direction do you think vaping will go in 2019? Raj, we answered that kind of thing a little while ago, my friend. We've got Miguel. We've kind of just answered that one. I think we are pretty much there. I think we've pretty much done it. So I'm probably going to get my battery indicator coming up on the DSLR because I've not got it plugged into the mains because I'm an idiot. But no, I mean, before we finish, tell us about what's going on with your channel. What's coming up? Kind of what are you focusing in on, and anything you want people to know, really?
Appreciate it, bro. But first and foremost, thank you so much for having me on again. I'm doing more quality, more stream of thought, trying to less choppier edits, more aesthetically pleasing to watch, and then on top of that, just more real shit. So myself and my homeboy Cameron here, we're going to start doing some silly stuff, not like comedy skits or anything like that, nothing cheesy, but like testing mods on dirt bikes, four-wheelers, side-by-sides in the middle of fucking, Minnesota winter, doing some silly stuff like that. Let's see if this mod can withstand being crushed by a snowplow. Stuff like fun stuff. And aesthetics on the channel. I just changed the channel banner. I'm going to be doing a new intro, new outro, more professional look, a better logo, and then something about how to do with aesthetics. It's going to be prettier. Put it that way, guys. It's going to be prettier. Schedule. That's what it was. Schedule. I have a full-blown schedule now. I had stomach flu last week. If you guys have been following, thank you guys for the support. It was shitty, and I mean that in a literal fucking sense. So I wasn't able to get both videos out. But Friday, new review. Sunday, new review. Thursday, live stream. Saturday, live stream. And then Sundays is going to be kind of up in the air. Absolutely. Because that's Sundays I try to do just with the family.
Cool. Well, there is a link to Thesis channel in the description, or there should be at the very least. So if you've not gone and checked him out, make sure you do go over there, give him a like and a subscribe, and watch a bunch of his videos, because I think they're fantastic and they're only just getting better. So not only just, you know what I mean. But no, it's a great channel to go and check out. So go and check it out. Give him a look, give him a subscribe, and give him a follow, because I genuinely do think that it's one of the most undervalued or underrated channels that we've got in vaping. I think it's fucking superb. So keep up the good work, buddy.
Means the world. Thank you so much, bro.
No worries. But thank you everybody for watching. I much appreciated. As always, if you do watch this and you're not subscribed for any reason, then please hit that like and a subscribe button. A couple of likes help us out, or help me out massively. So thank you very much indeed if you're part of the 72 people that have given us a thumbs up so far. Make sure you do like and subscribe. Go and check out the merchandise over on vapingbiker.co.uk if you want to hit some of that. And also there is the Patreon as well if you want to get some previews, unboxings, and all that sort of nonsense. You can find that pretty much on any social media that I've got. So in the meantime, thank you so much for watching. Now, Mr. Vaping with Thesis, what we do at the end of this, the way we like to finish a show, is we like to have a big old have it large over the same time of the guest blowing a big old dirty cloud at the camera. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the camera on you. And just as I do the thank you very much for watching, do the full business. You're going to take your breathing in, and then when I say have it large, you're going to exhale a fantastic cloud to the camera. We're going to finish on a beast of a high note. Are you ready?
Sounds good. I've got the timing of a broken clock, but we'll see.
That's quite all right. Here we go then. So, right. So, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time. And make sure that you go out there and have a you see, he's blowing out already. Look. He's not there. There we go. Right. Let's get on it. I won't tease you on this one. So let's go out there. Big old breathe in. Let's do a cloud out together. So thank you so much for watching. Oops. And we will see you next time. Have it large.